Hello everybody, Mikey Moore here, lead singer of the Responding and worship pastor at Crossroads Community Church. Welcome to another Responding resource and tutorial video where we're going to be talking about time management. When it comes to finances, budgets help you keep in line with spending, allows for monetary freedom, savings for emergencies, and margin to be generous. This is the same for your time as a leader. As a leader, we get pulled in so many different directions that we're going to get to the end of our days if we don't have a plan for our time and wonder what we did with it. My hope is that by the end of this video, you have the ability to plan and budget your time wisely so you have the ability to mentor others, spend time with family and friends, and also have margin in your day to relax, restore, and enjoy life. Also, if you haven't already yet, make sure that you hit that like button and also share this with your other leader friends because I'm sure that they're asking the same question of why don't I have margin in my day? So make sure you share this with your friends, hit that like button. Now let's get into the topic of time management. The first question you're probably asking yourself is, why does this even matter? Why does it matter that I have a budget for my time as a leader? Or maybe you're saying to yourself, this is too hard. I don't even know how to plan out my day, let alone a whole week or a month. But as you start this process, even if it's a bit stretching for you, I know that you'll see it's worth it in the end. Also, it's good to note that you don't have to start big. You don't have to do your whole month or your whole year. You can start with just planning out your days every single morning. But the goal would be to start planning out your entire week and then eventually your entire month, and then maybe, if you get to it, your entire year if you can. But let's first start with how to do this process. The second thing I want to mention before we're able to go through the step-by-step process is you need to know what values you hold in life. At work, do you enjoy raising up new leaders? Do you like developing processes and procedures? And for personal life, do you enjoy hanging out with friends and family? Do you enjoy playing sports or maybe playing video games? Do you enjoy writing? Whatever those things are, you need to know what those values you hold are, write them down, and then after you write down those values that you hold both in work and in life, I want you to write down every task from work that you can think of. Write them all down, and then we're gonna get into how you budget all of those tasks, including the values that you hold in life. So pause the video. No, seriously, pause the video, write down your values, and write down after that the tasks that you do at work, every one you can think of, and then get back to me after you write those down. Okay, now that you've written down those values and those tasks, let's begin with the step-by-step process of how you budget your time, because this is what's going to bring you freedom and margin in your life. I guarantee it's going to be worth it, so stick with me through the process. Let's walk through the step-by-step process of budgeting out your time. Now, this is going to take practice, and you might even at the end of this video need to scroll all the way back and watch the whole thing again, because this is going to take repetition. Just like you would with your finances, you have to do it over and over again before you really feel like you've got the hang of it. Now, I'm going to be going over mostly how to budget your work life time, but all of these practices and steps can be applied to your personal life as well, and you need to do that as well because you want freedom and margin holistically, not just at work, but also in your personal life. So make sure you do that, but let's get into step number 1. Step 1, place your tasks and meetings for work in 4 different tiers. I get this concept from Craig Groeschel, and you can find his video on the tiers 1 through 4 also on YouTube. Tier number 1 is being mission critical tasks. If I don't do this personally, then the ship will sink. These are things only I can do. Tier number 2, these are things that are very important, things that aren't going to sink the ship if they aren't done, but are still very important to the organization running well. Tier number 3, these are things that are important, but you could delegate these tasks to other people or volunteers that you have, pending that they have the right training. And Tier 4, these are tasks that don't have to get done right away for things to run how they should, or they are outside people asking you to do tasks that take you away from tasks in Tier 1 through 3. So as we talked about earlier in the video when we asked you to pause the video and write down the tasks that you have in your work life, this is the time, steps 2 through 5, when I talk about them, that I want you to try to start placing those tasks in those tiers. Now you can also do it at the end of the video, but you might want to start now because as I talk through these things, you're already going to be able to identify the tasks that should be placed in each tier. So as we go through step 2 through 5, go ahead and start doing that. So let's get into step 2, which is talking about tier number 1 tasks. Step 2, Budget out time spent on your mission critical tasks first. This is tier 1. This will dictate the rest of your week based on how much time you spend on your most important things. You'll want to spend 50% of your week on these tasks as they will get you the farthest in your job and in your life. Remember, these things are only things you can do. These are tasks that add value to your organization and are tasks that you are best suited for. There should only be 3 to 5 tasks that you place in this tier. As you saw on the slide, the most important thing to remember here is that you should only have between 3 and 5 tasks in your tier 1. Any more than that, and you're actually getting away from the things that add value to our organization. You uniquely are gifted and you were hired for a reason, and that is to add value to your organization and your church because of what you bring to the table. So make sure that the 3 to 5 things are the things that only you can do that will make sure that your church or organization succeeds. So let's move on to step number 3, which is tier 2. Step 3, budget out the reoccurring weekly meetings and tasks that you need to accomplish. This is tier number 2. These are things you can't really get away from and are needed, but every so often can be canceled if it gets in the way of tier 1 tasks. These need to be in your calendar, but budget them in a way that you don't have to do too many in one day. You'll want to spend 30% or less of your time in meetings. One trick is to see if some meetings that last more than 30 minutes can be turned into a 10-minute email sent out. A lot of times the meetings we set up are actually wasting time more than using it wisely. The important thing to remember here is that the meetings and tasks that you have in tier 2 should be allowed to be canceled if they're getting in the way of tier 1. So if they are not things that can be canceled or moved, you either need to reevaluate them or you need to place them in tier 1 because they're things that are that important that you can't cancel them. But you need to make sure that the tier 2 things, tier 3 and tier 4, never get in the way of tier 1. All right, let's move on to step number 4, which is the tier 3 tasks. Step 4, budget out tasks that don't occur often or happen only once a week or a month. This is your tier 3 and 4 tasks. A trick when looking at these is asking yourself, can these be delegated to someone else on my team? A lot of times a task can and will allow you to get back to focusing on those tier 1 and tier 2 tasks that you are best suited for. Some of these tasks you personally still need to do, but they can be pushed off several weeks if you need to before you get to it. After making a list of the tier 3 and 4 tasks, you might need to cut some of them out and stop doing them altogether in order to make more room in your days. So what I want to make a note of with tier 3 and tier 4 tasks is that these are tasks that you can reevaluate and get rid of if you need to. The point of these tasks is to keep them in your rotation if you need to, but if they get in the way of tier 1 or tier 2, then you need to get rid of them or delegate them to somebody else. You need to get back to the things that matter most, which are in tier 1 and tier 2. Okay, we're in the home stretch here, so make sure you stick with me to step number 5. Let's get into it. Step 5, budget out time for breaks, lunches, and divergences to give your mind a rest during the day. This is important for your overall health and wellness. Even during your workday, you need to have times where you mentally can check out and times where you feed your mind on topics that you enjoy. The most important thing to remember is to set time limits on these things so you can get back to the tasks that you need to accomplish. Remember the phrase divert daily, which are lunches and 10-minute breaks, withdraw weekly, which are weekend and Sabbath days, and abandon annually. Take a legit vacation and budget that into your year. Budget all of these in your calendar or I promise you will forget them. And do not make excuses as to why you can't stop working. You need breaks daily, weekly, and yearly for you to rest, restore, and be the most productive and vibrant that you can be. The most important thing to remember for step 5 is that the lunches and breaks and divergences are to help you be the best you can be for your family and in your work environment. You are uniquely gifted, but we all lose passion sometimes because we're always working and never taking a break. So make sure that you divert daily, withdraw weekly, and abandon annually so that you can be rested and restored for what you are passionate about and the values that you wrote down earlier in this video. I hope by watching this video that you have been encouraged that although budgeting your time can take a little bit of time to do, in the long run, you'll be so glad that you did. It will help you to focus on what matters most in both your family and work life, and also will allow you to bring the most value that you can to both of those places. I'll give you a head start. I put a link down below where you can click and see my personal tier list with my tasks, as well as my personal daily, weekly, and monthly calendar so that you can get a head start on budgeting out yours. Thank you so much for watching another Responding Resourcing tutorial video. I hope that you learned a lot from what you saw. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button and share this with other leader friends that you have, because no matter what they lead, I know that they will learn something from this. So until the next video, have a great day.